Even as the world analyzes and reviews every bit of the 20-point peace proposal put forward by American President Donald Trump, on the ground in Gaza, death and destruction continue. More than 66,000 people have been killed, and those who live are barely surviving exactly 2 years since October 2023, when this round of the war started. In August, famine was declared. 22% of the population is at risk. All infrastructure, hospitals, homes, schools, access to sanitation and hygiene facilities, anything that is needed to sustain human life is in pieces. So, what does Gaza need at this point, immediately and urgently? Is this peace proposal that's been put forward by the American president going to make it a little bit easier to access immediate humanitarian aid? I'm talking to Amjad Al Shawa. He's joining me from Gaza. He's the director of PNGO, the Palestinian NGO Network, under which over 100 NGOs working across sectors combine. Amjad, thank you very much for making time. And let me start by offering my condolences to you for the devastating death and destruction that you and your people have experienced and are enduring.
Thank you for that, and really, it's appreciated. And while I'm talking to you, I'm just displaced from Gaza City a few days ago to the middle area to Dar al Bala. Although that I had this promise not to leave Gaza again, I was displaced for 15 months, which wasn't an easy mission. But due to the Israeli military operation in Gaza, this intensive airstrikes and the cut of aid, the cut of almost all needs in Gaza, I have to flee with hundreds of thousands of people to the middle area.
Can you give us a sense of how you have been working in the last 2 years and especially in the last few days? What is it like if you are having to keep fleeing and moving so that you are not in the line of Israel's attacks? How are you managing to help others? How do you coordinate aid and humanitarian relief in a situation like this?
Yeah, it's a very important question. You get me to the first week of the this war, October 2023, when there was the Israeli forcible displacement order to the Gaza city and north to flee to be forcibly displaced to the middle area and the south. And I was hesitating to move with my family, and then we have decision thinking it will be a few hours and we'll be back, and it became 15 months. And all the international UN agencies displaced also from Gaza north to this to Rafah to the south or outside the country. So only the national NGOs who were on the ground. I do remember I started my work from the streets, from the coffee shops, from moving from place to place to meet with the colleagues. Part of my staff stayed in Gaza in the north, or in a tent, or in shelter. So to start collecting people, and at that time the telecommunication was very difficult. The network was dropped, but we managed to meet at least to see what we can do with the national NGOs and how. And the national NGOs in that time, as you know well, that they're not in need for direction or guidance. They just started with the people where they are to deliver services. And just to remind, 3 4 days after the 7th of October, that what was the declaration from the Israeli government to deny entry of all needs, all supplies to Gaza, whether electricity, water, medicine, food, all this. They closed all the borders. So there was almost nothing between our hands. But we tried our best to do what we have to do to the people. We established our small clinics here and some distribution points. to distribute food, to start water tracking, and these programs which we started. And myself, I was in contact and coordination with the UN, with some NGOs who are there, in order to reestablish the coordination structure in order to respond to these needs. And day by day, the needs became more and more till we face this starvation and famine and the continuous displacement of our people. But in Gaza, things are different. In Gaza, there was only the national NGOs who were there delivering services, moving to place. Uh, and I can say that yes, we were the frontliners, but we lost most of our capacities, our premises. And during the 2 months, 2 years, there was more than 230 of our aid workers were killed, hundreds were injured, and about 700 of aid workers, most of them 360 from UNRWA, one of the UN agencies,
Yes.
and also from other INGOs, from the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. So we were there with the people. We are part of the social fabric, and we were affected as people affected. But through our staff members, through the volunteers on the sites, wherever people are, we could manage to deliver some services, psychosocial support, and education. And this is, we established about 500 educational learning points that students, although the risks that they have, although that we have no stationery to give, but students come to the tent that we established to receive some education.
You use the words learning point. I mean, there are no schools. Children are not going to schools for over 2 years now, and this is over 600,000 children, over 600,000 children.
Yeah, it's more. Uh, we work to establish these learning points that children can come, and we have these teachers who volunteer to give lessons, and it was opportunity also for uh, sometimes medical check, psychosocial support for the children, receiving some lessons, some skills. Uh, all of that we have very hard work in the issue of dealing with the trauma, with the things, but hours after this, the airstrikes destroy all the efforts we did. And the second day, we have to go back to the same thing. And we have this referral. If we discovered some cases, patients, or uh, children who need for psychological
Yes.
intervention, that we can refer it. So a lot of modalities we could build on that, and the learning spaces that was created. It was very important for us for the state fasting. Although that these children are malnutrition, thirst, and they are coming back from the morning trip that you have to collect some water, some food for their families. And every time that I'm going to these spaces, I just remember the schools that you mentioned, which 90% of the schools were destroyed totally and became rubbles. And all universities became also part of the memory.
Can you paint a picture of food?
Yeah,
Let's tackle food, Amjad. How is food being made available via aid? Because I read that bakeries are shut. There is no farming, so there are no primary produce. There is no processing ability, no cooking ability because you need water and you need fire.
yeah, that's right. And just to mention, from day one of this war, intentionally there was denial of the entry of basic needs, and parallel to that, the destruction that the Israeli did to this infrastructure, whether the agriculture, the farms, the animal farms that we had, and in the same time the aggregation system, which was destroyed, water wells. About more than 80% of the water facilities were destroyed. The water well, the water pipes, and everything was destroyed, and so people became more and more dependent on the humanitarian aid. Whilst we have the sea,
Yeah.
people could fish.
Yeah.
Denial, and tens of about 100 fishermen were killed, and they destroyed the boats and this fishing infrastructure by the airstrikes. So we deny from the basic resources for food in Gaza, whilst they controlled the borders, and it was calculated with calories what had been entered.
So, what is the humanitarian aid that you're being able to access? We just saw reports of the Samud flotilla being intercepted, the activists being arrested. So, even that little bit of aid is not able to reach you. So, what is the aid that you can access?
As you said, completely that we have very limited amount of aid we used to have along the 2 years, and with the specific items. We are not talking about the comprehensive food chain. All the time there was deficit, and we could see it in our bodies, in our health. So day by day, the Israelis control everything. And one of the things that they banned UNRWA. You know UNRWA, it's the biggest UN agency, and it's the backbone of all this humanitarian structure. They restrict also the work of the INGOs through this NGO new registration system, and they imposed customs and a lot of restricted measures not to let in the aid to Gaza. It's along the 2 years, but on March 2025, things became completely different. Total closure, nothing to enter, till we, in 1 month, there was no flour for bakeries, closed. Day by day, people lost the resources. On May, the Palestinian government announced Gaza as a famine zone.
Yes.
And after that, we started to discover these severe cases of malnutrition, whether amongst the children, babies, elders, pregnant women, and in the same time, the youth, that they lost the energy and the capacity. And we could see them fall down because of this. So it's very critical moments that people pass through while people are suffering from a great failure of such international community that they could see from early beginning during the 2 years of such grave violations committed and genocidal crimes committed against the Palestinians. Yes, we could see later some positions, which was late. To tell you the truth, the international community failed us with all stages till now. People of Gaza are not seeking anything different from any other people. They are seeking justice, human rights to be applied, the international law, the international humanitarian law. Israel was free handed to kill, to suffocate, to prevent everything, and to mislead the international community, to deny the entry of the international journalists to Gaza, to see by their own eyes, the international staff of the NGOs, any kind of action for accountability. They were protected by this Trump administration and an American administration, and the ignorance of some states. We are saying what's going on in Gaza, it's unprecedented, not only in Gaza, it's all over the world. It could be copied and pasted in other contexts. So, yes, we lost 66,000 in minimum, and the estimates is more and more. We lost the entire generation of the Gazans. But we are saying the international community victimized not only us, they victimized themselves.
What do you mean by that?
They victimized the principles that we collectively as nations agreed on. Could be copied in other contexts when this GHF Gaza Humanitarian Foundation established. It's unprecedented to replace a humanitarian agencies, to replace the humanitarian principles, to have these killing traps, to kill the aid seekers, these
Yeah,
starved people.
I have heard you say that GHF was using aid as bait to get people out and then to have them attacked.
Yes, to be attacked, insulted, and to mislead the international community. Look, we are feeding them, but you are feeding them. You're insulting and killing them.
You talked about how the international community has let Palestinians down, has let the people of Gaza down. Today, we are seeing a lot of analysis of this 20-point peace proposal that American President Donald Trump has put on the table. People are waiting to see what Hamas has to say. Many countries have welcomed this peace proposal. I have read the PNGO statement that you have released, and I'm just going to quote a little bit. You've said, while welcoming any efforts that leads to an immediate and lasting ceasefire that ends the ongoing genocide against our people in the Gaza Strip, the network warns that the US administration plan in its current form is nothing but a complete adoption of the Israeli narrative and project, and represents Prime Minister Netanyahu's success in forcing President Trump to amend the plan agreed with Arab and Muslim countries to suit Israel's demand in its entirety. You further go on, the statement further goes on to say, after a bit, that we call on all countries in the world and its living forces to reject any projects aimed at recycling and repackaging the occupation, and we call on them to hold the occupation and its supporters accountable for its crimes against our people. And you continue, the statement continues. Are you saying it is useless? Or if it offers you a ceasefire, even in that it is useful?
Look, Trump clearly is supporting Israel with all means. And this is not what we are saying. Also, the Arab leaders and Muslim leaders who were in the meeting with the Trump, they are saying this is not the draft. That's what is presented to them. It was amended, and there was the consultation with them. So this is one. Two, there is no guarantees of Israeli full withdrawal from Gaza Strip. But I have to tell you that we do support any step forward ending this war, relaxing the humanitarian situation, we're opening the crossings to enter aid. Our people deserve now have to have some rest. What we are witnessing really that mailing Gaza to stop this destroying Gaza. Gaza is 5,000 years old and more. It's one of the four eldest seaports all over the world. And not just, I'm talking about buildings, I'm talking about people. And we are not number, and we refuse to be numbers, to be calculated by this way. We're a human being. These children deserve to get more attention and protection from the international community. And we are telling that we need this Palestinian consensus in order to go forward this plan, Trump plan. This is it's not a rejection of the plan, it's more concerns about the plan. To tell the world that according to experience that we had, there is no guarantees. You, the international community, you're supposed to give these guarantees
mm,
that Israel will go forward the application of this plan.
mm,
And the second, we have Tony Blair. Tony Blair, who is well known as a criminal,
yeah.
not only here, criminal everywhere in Iraq. So this case need to be dealt that the Palestinians to govern themselves, not to sacrifice the self-determination. Peace for Palestinians, it's yes, the recognition of our right to have our own state, but our right to self-determination. So this is our position as Bingo. It's not in order to tell refuse or not. We are part of the people. We are the voice of the people here. Yes, we need to stop it now. But Israel want to keep GHF, for example. Why the Israelis want to keep GHF?
But I believe the proposal says that if this peace plan is accepted, then the UN agencies will start playing a role again in humanitarian aid, including the Red Crescent.
Yes, and other
Hmm. Yes.
organizations, which is part of GHF.
Hmm.
So
Oh.
if Israel withdraw, why to keep its this body?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So it's but so many concerns that there is no time schedule, timetable for the withdrawal. Clear one. Okay, it will go for negotiations. So I think there is something missing. But again, we have to stop this killing and this genocide. But we insist also for the issue of accountability. This is one of the main guarantees that we have all to work for. If there will be no accountability for these war crimes, it will be copied also.
I was reading in the IPC report how, because of the militarization and all these, orders from Israel to evacuate, entire populations have been compressed into a very small piece of land.
Yes.
Um, can you just give us a sense of what kind of trauma that creates among people who are forced to leave their homes and are displaced not once but many times in the past 2 years?
You know, some people already that they displaced for 20 times, moving from place to place. And in the last few weeks, because of the Israeli forcibly displacement order,
Mm,
people from Gaza north and already the north
mm,
in the last 5 months they displaced from the north to the Gaza city, and then people moved from the east of Gaza city towards the west of Gaza city. The big neighborhoods, the old city in Gaza city destroyed, total leveled. The same in the north. So people were just in the west, and now they are suffocated. In the last 2 weeks, there was the big displacements, massive displacement for people from Gaza to Deir al Balah in the middle area, to Al Mawasi in the south, which is about less than 10% of the Gaza Strip. So you put about 2 million Palestinians in very small land. We could find people who has no space, no tent. I met them personally 2 days ago. We met hundreds of these families in the streets. Talk about women, elders, people with disability, injured, infants, children, just sitting there with no water, no food, nothing to cover them. At night started to be cold. I want to help them. And my colleagues in the UN and the others, we want to do something for them. We have nothing. What had been entered 5,000 tents, which is nothing. We need 200,000 tents. People start to go to red zone areas to stay there. And every day we're receiving messages about attacking them in that area. No enough water. The health facilities overwhelmed, overcrowded, 300% occupied. by patients, injured people. And the big thing that we left Gaza. When I heard about destruction of anything in Gaza, my heart is broken more and more. I have relatives, friends, colleagues. Our office in Gaza is still there. It's open. I have colleagues who I have concerns about their lives. Israel, again, green lighted, killing everything, anyone. And while the world is watching and welcoming the Trump plan, no action to protect these civilians, these children, to pressure Israel to respect what they said about a humanitarian area in the south and the middle area, to let in aid what had been, sometimes that getting chocolate for us. People sold their belongings. They have nothing. No incomes. 90% lost their incomes. So the commercial items is in. We have chocolate. We have some frozen fruits. No fresh fruits yet. So the case here that I do remember one time, 1 kilo of sugar, 500 shekels, which is about $150.
My God.
The flour, 1 kilo is $30. We have no cooking gas. You have to buy some wood and or to go to risk to dangerous areas to collect some wood here from there, or to go to destroyed buildings to collect some doors in order or to buy. You have to buy your water, you have to buy your food, you have to buy a tent, if you manage to get some blankets. So this is the case. It's very critical moments that we are passing through, and we hope that we can get this ceasefire soon and to apply justice for us and for everyone.
What are the priority areas right now, given that everything is a challenge, that everything that sustains life is being destroyed? What are the priorities if there is a ceasefire? What do you need from the world instantly, immediately?
Immediately, we need this protection, the war not be back, Israel withdrawal, opening of the crossings, to let the aid workers and humanitarian agencies to work, to let in field hospitals to deal with these tens of thousands of injured people who need for urgent medical treatment. I have been yesterday to one of the field hospitals. It's overwhelmed in the corridors, in every corner. These brilliant young ladies, children who injured, immunized. So we have these severe cases. We need urgently supplies for the children, food, clothes, milk. But again, we need to feel that we are safe and protected.
At this point of time, do you have an assessment of what it will take to rebuild Gaza to what it used to be before 2 years?
We are not talking about rebuilding Gaza. Sorry to say,
Yeah,
it's building Gaza again.
yeah.
Almost Gaza, and there is cities as Rafah
Mm.
leveled totally. We're talking about constructing Gaza again, constructing the hope again. Look, we lost everything. Everything ran out. Only the hope. Still, we are keeping hope. And this is what keeping us alive.
I was just going to ask you, hope, your strength and resilience, not just for yourself, but for the people you represent, for the entire community of people you belong to. Where do you look for hope, for resilience, for strength to live another day?
You know who gave me hope? Children. These children who are very committed. to go to these spaces. These women, we have a great woman as you. These
I can't
resilient women.
I can't even begin to imagine what vulnerable people are going through in Gaza. What someone like me, if I was in Gaza and Palestinian and I lived there, I don't know what my life would be. I can't even.
No one can imagine the situation and describe it
And
because whatever the words in the dictionaries, it can't help us to describe the situation. Whatever the photographs that you can receive cannot reflect what's the meaning of 6 days to be displaced, to move from your home in Gaza City to the middle area by foot, and you push your disabled husband carrying your baby and surrounded by other children, leave behind everything and to come with no tents, no shelter, no food, no water, you have nothing. And just to be covered by a nylon shield for 6 days. And then to give me hope. No, things will be changed. We will not give up. She's telling me. And then from where I got hope? From them. When this flotilla came, it's a signal. It's a message from the world that Gaza is not forgotten. And we, the world, we will not forgive.
I think there are many people here in India who feel very strongly. Thank you for talking to me so that your words reach more people.
Thank you. I received so many messages from India, from all the world. It's very supportive. The war will finish today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. Please continue your support till we will have this end for this occupation. The root problem for everything is the occupation. And looking to see you in Gaza,
Inshallah, as you would say, isn't it?
inshallah. All the best.
Thank you, Amjad. Thank you. All the best. And thank you for watching. Thank you for making time for this latest episode of Keep Talking. I hope you will like it, that you will share it, that it will provide food for thought, and that you will subscribe to this channel.